A lot of people didn't like that. I like that album.
Bro,
I thought Pablo was good.
Kanye West's discography is like fucking greatest of all time, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And mind you, listen, man, like I'm aware that he has writers. You know,
of course.
I don't listen. Okay, I'm aware that he has writers. I'm aware that he's not afraid to CEO an album.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he'll like Quincy Jones an album. I'm aware of that.
Mm-hmm.
So when I listen to his raps, I'm not keeping in mind, and I'm a rapper. I hate ghostwriters. Ghostwriters are people that don't get their credit.
I think Kanye a ghostwriter himself, dude.
I wouldn't be surprised, man. Listen, man. Kanye West. Okay, you asked me about Yeezus, right?
Yeah.
Yeezus is like, bro, the whole campaign, the whole experience from the moment he announced Yeezus till the moment that he like moved on to the next album, that whole chunk of time, everything that he did was spectacular, bro. Like the merch, the fucking interviews,
the marketing was great. I'm not gonna lie.
Incredible. And then when you get down to the actual music, bro, like the album version of On Sight that has that let me show you right now before you give it up, and then it goes into that sample flip. I got you what you need. Bum 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 bum. It might not be what you want, and it cuts right back into the super hard synth. Yo, that shit is incredible. And then when you go to the concert, you are familiar with the song, and that sample only loops one time. But in the live show, he lets it flip. He lets it loop like 4, 5, 6 times, just to really enjoy it without having to manually run it back. Like, that album is incredible to me. Watch the Throne is fantastic.
Of course, Watch the Throne to me is the best collaboration album.
Fantastic.
All time.
Bro, like, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fate. It's just the whole my first mixtape, 12 a.m.
Yeah.
I have a freestyle over Devil in a New Dress. Like, I wrote a song about being stuck in a house hidden from the view of the devil trying on new dresses. You get me? Like, I actually told the story of being stuck in a house that ends up being the house that the devil lives in.
That's crazy.
And she's trying on new dresses before she goes out and keeps gathering more souls. Like, this dude Kanye West is like easily, like, musically, right? My biggest influence, bro. Like, I'm not even scared to admit it. And mind you, listen, there are other people that are honorable mentions. You said top 5, top 6 through 10.
Yeah, you could do a top 10.
I'm saying, like, there are other people that for different reasons they exist on there. You know, Mike Shinoda from Linkin Park. Like, he's not the illest rapper, but his music is just incredible to me.
Linkin Park kind of raised all of us.
Yeah, bro. Man, I was locked up when I got the news that Chester Bennington passed away. I was in...
Everybody was hurt.
Yeah, I was in prison. I got a letter from my boy Joel, who's my friend from, like, 5th grade. And he broke the news to me, and I was like reading his letter. Yo, Chester Bennington died. Man, dog, I was holding back tears in there, bro. Like, that's crazy, dog. So, like, bro, like, my influences aren't like the rappity shit. Like, to me, like, y'all want you, Eminem and Jay-Z are like the illest MCs to me. And then after that, and Lil Wayne too. Lil Wayne's like the GOAT when it comes to similes and metaphors and like...
Because his vocabulary is like, it's undisputed. It's like, people don't realize how really smart he is. Like,
bro, yeah, man. He went to fucking like... He graduated from, I think, university or some shit when he was already a superstar.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, bro. Like, so it's Eminem, Jay-Z, Slug from Atmosphere, Lil Wayne, and Kanye West.
So who's like in your 6 through 10, since we could expand it?
That kind of like, that fluctuates, that changes, you know?
Yeah.
But I know for a fact, Mike Shinoda, Kid Cudi, that's hard, bro. Oh, Biggie. Yeah. Biggie, for sure. You know? It changes.
Yeah.
It just depends on who's in my recent memory. Like, Biggie. So that's Kid Cudi, Mike Shinoda, Biggie. Damn, bro. Man, I don't know,
Is
bro.
Tupac in your top 10?
He's in my, like... He is in my... top 10 overall hip-hop, but not personally consumed. But every time I play his music, I get reminded why he's so great.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, when it comes to the Biggie versus Pac thing, because a lot, like, you know, we all compared. Biggie had less music, Pac had more, but I always felt like, for me, you know, growing up, I was a chubby boy and stuff like that. Like, I kind of could relate to Biggie. Tupac, when I'm in certain moods, I can kind of relate to him too, but like Biggie just gave me that energy. He gave me more like, I can do this tomorrow, you know, so I can do this now. Tupac is more like, if you doing like if you're doing a test or something, like something that's very like challenging, like I gotta listen to Tupac.
Like, bro, Biggie's albums are just like a lot better.
Yeah. Like
Tupac has so many songs, and you know what's Tupac's best album to me? His greatest hits.
He's great, yeah, because they all got like the hits.
And they're like that. If that was an album, he would be number one forever. Yeah. But like, he just had like albums that, I mean, bro, man, I love Tupac, you know? Yeah. But like, fuck, bro, I'm just being honest, you know? Like,
I love Tupac.
His discography is like flawed, you know? But think about this. This is what's so crazy about Pac. He died in 96, and he came out in 91.
Yeah.
That's 5 years. He spent 8 months of those 5 years in prison. And he also was in a bunch of movies. So let's say that's, 4 years and 4 months minus movies. Let's say that's like 6 months total filming. So you're talking about 3 years and 8 months. In 3 years and 8 months, he did all the music that he did. In theory, I'm doing math in my head. But like, basically in like less than 5 years is every song that he ever did. That's a lot. That's work ethic is crazy.
And he still got songs that's still like in the vote that nobody never even heard of before.
Yeah, man. I mean, like, so no, Tupac is not in my top 10 for like personal consumption.
But you know, like,
but I know there's,
and like when we debate like hip hop in general, like I
went through my phase in high school where I tied the bandana in front of my head. I did, bro. Yes, man. I'm a hip hop fanatic, you know. But man, like after that, damn, bro. I don't know. It interchanges. I mentioned 8 artists, and it changes, bro. Excuse me. I don't know, man. Yeah, it changes, bro. I don't have a... At this point, if I were to mention anybody else, it'll just be like lazily put in there, you know?
Yeah.
Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Yeah, Bone Thugs.
Let's put them in there.
You can put a group in there.
Yeah, Bone Thugs and Harmony. And, hey, you know what? You know what's crazy? I haven't talked about this with anyone on an actual publication, but like, people might argue with me on this, which is totally okay, but I think that now that Mac Miller passed away, if you look at his career and his impact, I think Mac Miller can be arguably up there with Tupac and Biggie.
I felt the same way with Kid Cudi because of that. 'Cause Kid Cudi pretty much helped the whole generation.
Like, look,
if Mac Miller is the same way. Like, he's in that. He's them artists that people may not look at as like a top 5 artist. But the impact, he got to be top 5 because the whole generation.
All right, let's think about this right quick. Like, if your listeners are still listening, shout out to y'all, man, because I know some people are gonna be like, man, he on that bullshit, and they turn it off. But listen, man, Tupac and Biggie died at 25.
Yeah.
Mac Miller died at 26. Okay, they're mid-20s. Tupac and Biggie's career was short-lived, less than 10 years. You know, Mac Miller's also, he had an 8-year career. Mac Miller came out with like 8 albums?
Yeah.
And a shitload of collabs?
Yeah, a bunch of mixtapes and stuff too.
Yes. His discography is extensive as well, right? Aside from just rapping, he also produced. He had a show on MTV that a bunch of people laughed and enjoyed.
I love that shit.
He's been touring since the very beginning. Everyone loved him. And when he died, everyone was hurting. Doesn't that sound a lot like Tupac?
Yes, Tupac, Biggie. What about?
So if I had to put someone on my 10th, it would probably be Mac Miller.
What about XX? Even though he died really young. Like,
yeah, I don't fuck with XXXTentacion. I never fucked with him. Like, he's dead, so I don't want to speak ill on his name. Yeah. But like, so I'd rather not get into detail out of respect. But like, I never rocked with XXXTentacion.
Okay.
You know, I don't want to get into detail because, again, he's dead, and God bless the dead, and like, God bless him. You know, like, he was seeking atonement for
the next wave that's coming.
No, like he was seeking atonement. Like he knew that he was that he. I never met the guy, so like, but like from what I saw, he was trying to right his wrongs, and he deserves the opportunity to be able to try to right his wrongs, and he died before he was able to fully execute that.
Yeah.
So like, that's between him and God.
Yeah.
And I just never rocked with him personally.
Yeah, I respect that.
So that's my stance on it.
I respect that. So the last question is, where do you see yourself 5 to 10 years from now?
5 to 10 years from now, a goal that I have is to build myself up, continue to build myself up as an artist. Where like I'm living off of the fruits of my labor. I want to buy my mom and my dad a house. Yeah, each of them their own crib. I don't care if I live in a van, touring full time inside of a van with like my studio equipment in there with my dog. If I can buy my mom and my dad a house, my life will be fulfilled personally. Like, they've done so much for me that I just want to repay them in their older years with like a comfortable living that was accomplished through my sacrifice in this music. You know, I missed out on a lot of family gatherings, a lot of family things for a studio session or for a writing session or a show or a shift at work. You know how you get a job at Macy's and they're not going to give you no days off on that holiday. You're going to miss out.
You're going to have to work there,
Yeah, so I did a lot of that, bro. And like, I just wanted to be able to make all this work like pay off by getting my mom and my dad a house within 5 to 10 years.
That's what's up, man. I respect that, man. You got any shout outs before we close it off?
Hell yeah, man. Shit, man. Shout out to my fans, bro. Like, anyone that's a fan of my music, bro, thank you, man. For real, man. Shout out to my man Rev, Cloud9, Shakespeare, Mowgli. I shouted out Shotty earlier. Shout out to him too, man, because he's super ill and like you know, like he deserves.
All the artists that you shout out, they got like music on iTunes and all that.
The majority of them do, yeah. Some of them are more like Mowgli. I don't think Mowgli cares about none of that shit, but he should.
yeah.
Bro, shout out to my man Joel, to Doris, from Virginia, bro. Yeah, that's pretty much it, man. I can shout out all day, but like...
And shout out your social media and everything, all that stuff.
Everything is Art Morera. Twitter, I'm not even on that shit, so don't tweet me. Like, Instagram, Art Morera. YouTube is Art Morera TV. That's what I would want people to really, like, subscribe to. Go to my YouTube and check that out. I'm documenting my life on there. And yeah, that's pretty much it, man. And Anonymous, bro, shout out to you too, bro.
Man, thank you for coming on the show, though.
Yeah,
like,
for sure, man.
Straight up, man.
This
like,
was tight.
It's something that, you know, I'm trying to continue to build with my podcast. Everyone who I reached out to, I just feel like they could bring like an impact, and especially like, you know, these up and coming, you know, these kids that's coming up, you know, that's going to college, you know, even people around our age and people even older than us that's still trying to figure out, you know, what they want to do, what career they want to be in, and stuff like that. So I'm just trying to bring in all the positive people in just to share their stories and light.
Good, man. Like in Tupac's voice, you are appreciated.
Yeah, man. For real, man. For real. People got, like, I think that's what it is. Like, we got to really appreciate each other because...
Yeah, man.
That would... I feel like that would change the world. Like, man, I appreciate you, what you're doing and stuff like that. You may not, like you said earlier, you may not like the artist's work, but I appreciate they working. They not just sitting there, you know, being lazy, being content and all that.
Bro, like, that's kind of what Transit City is about, man. Like, there's this, if I had to sum up Transit City in one sentence, in one line from that whole project, is on Strangers, where I go, the reason why I'm so happy to speak with you is because of our mortality, you know? Yeah. Like, the reason why I'm so happy to speak with you right now is because, like, you could be anywhere else, but like, we're here in this moment together doing this podcast.
Exactly.
And, like, one day, like, you're going to not be here no more, and neither will I, which is what makes this one little moment that much more special, you know? So it's like I said, like, if we're all floating in space and you float right by me, one should appreciate that moment.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly, man. Thanks for coming on the show. This be your boy DJ Anonymous with sportsbizmusic with Art Morera, and we out.
Oh, hey, and go Miami Dolphins.
Exactly. We trying to make the playoffs, man. Now, the other day, the Vikings They blew us out, but
Man, it's all good, man.